Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of Tricia in her minivan, the Black Swan. This is the second part of my trip where we went to Roswell, New Mexico, and I must say I was expecting a bit more, but here's where I was at the museum, alien museum, whatever they call it, and it was nice. It had some interesting things to see. It was crowded and full of kids screaming. It was really interesting, and it is a check on my bucket list. I checked it off. I was always wanting to go to Roswell, and this is the museum. And they had some things that were really interesting things, but I was expecting a bit more. Would say I was expecting a little bit more. And here I'm taking a tour around the museum. And the reason for the voiceover is because there was a lot of background noise with kids and crying babies, things like that. But I am glad that I went. And I'm just gonna put a little music here so you can watch and see what I saw, clips of what I saw, some videos of aliens, things like that. And here I am outside of the museum, and this was in a glass window in front in a display. And I'm going to try and find some other attractions to see. I mean, mainly Roswell is like any other small town with a little sprinkle of alien paraphernalia here and there. But I did find the little footsteps, alien footprints, and I followed it along until I came to this space, a blacklight adventure of spacewalk. And it was hard to take pictures here because it was so dark inside, of course. But I did manage to get these semi-focused photos while I was on the blacklight tour. And here you go. After leaving the tour, I drove around and saw this McDonald's with the alien theme, and then I drove to my campsite. And nice scenic route back out of side of town. Well, I shouldn't say scenic. Nice, quiet route back to the campsite. I stayed at the Bottomless Lakes State Park, and it looked really great. However, there were so many flies, and I did set up outside with my chair and gonna chill and relax and read, but there were so many flies. I just gave up and got inside the van. Also, it started to rain. I'm just kicking back in my messy van, watching TV. It stops raining now, but I'm already set up, so I'm not getting out. Later, I scanned around on the TV and found a little Roswell, New Mexico episode. I don't know the laws about the length of the clips that you can have of a movie, so I'm just going to talk over here and cut it off really quickly. But yeah, and the next morning I did drive around a little bit because I was headed out to see this bottomless lake they're talking about. The next morning, I'm driving around to the other side of my campground, and here is one of the bottomless lakes, quote unquote, that they talk about. And it's really a sinkhole that's filled with water, and it could range up to 90 feet deep. That's back in the day. They thought cowboys couldn't find the bottom because they tied ropes together. And you see the flies, right? They tied ropes together to try to reach the bottom. Of course, the ropes weren't long enough, so they called them bottomless. That's the story. On my drive out, I remembered I hadn't eaten breakfast, so I did stop here and just eat breakfast and enjoy the view. Yes, it is Wednesday morning, I think, the 22nd, and I'm off to Blue Water Lake on the other side of New Mexico. I'm just leaving Bottomless Lake State Park right outside of Roswell, New Mexico. And I've just pulled over in one of these overlook areas to have some cereal. So let me show you what I'm looking at, my view this morning. This is my breakfast view. It's at the top, Bottomless Lakes, down there somewhere in one of these valleys. I think it's way over there to my left. But anyway, Gonna sit down and have some cereal and enjoy this 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive to the other side of New Mexico. Okay, everything was really nice. It was nice and cool yesterday. It's hot this morning. But there's one thing about Bottomless Lakes area that I did not like. And, well, actually, I guess it's just fly season, I guess. Because right outside on the in West Texas, where I stopped, there were flies everywhere too. And this one is just, and they were biting flies. So there are flies everywhere. I guess I was going to say 'tis the season to have flies, but my video cut off. And now I'm on my way to Blue Water Lake on the other side of New Mexico. And as I traveled, some interesting things happened. I mean, it was a very long trip. And my next video clip or my next video will show what happened on the way to Blue Water Lakes. As the Vulcans would say, live long and prosper.